Radio check. Who included your audio, man?
This is all good to go.
Alright, copy that. Welcome back for another Republic of Motorsports. And today we are here for the Bahrain International Circuit, round 13 of this championship. And we're already underway in qualifying, 13 and a half minutes remaining. It's currently Maitland from James B. Ford, Weston's Ludlow, Aki Dunsworth, and Tommy Reel is about to come up to the line. How are we doing today, Sir Matthew? Bottle beer.
Yep, that's me. I've recovered from my several crashes yesterday. Feeling great again and ready to sit out this one and maybe not drive because that could result in several deaths.
Yeah, I think a few of the viewers are not quite sure what actually happened yesterday, but it was an episode of Drive to Survive on the start of the Monza circuit yesterday. Conor Beer, what exactly happened off that off the grid there?
Well, basically, if we look at it in depth and in detail, Maniac driver spun, and that was half the grid gone.
So yeah, if you're unsure what is actually going on, so yesterday we was competing in ABR Tier 2. Matthew Connerbeer took out half the grid, much to my delight, and yeah, that enabled me to get a solid points score for the Renault team. But let's get back to the Republic of Motorsport Grand Prix. This is round 13, as we said earlier today, and yes, we've got a new face on the grid. Any familiar names that we can see here, Matt?
Is it, would it be that Renault driver named Monsieur Snipes Speed that you'd be talking about? We do know Snipes from CSR, which you can watch tomorrow, Monday, 8 PM. Watch me and Skills finish 1 and 2 at the Singapore Grand Prix. We do know Snipes. We do know he is a incredibly talented driver, and I expect him to be right up at the front here today with the likes of Pez, B. Ford, Tommy Reel, all them lot. Let's see what he's capable of. He's on his first lap of the day now, and he's just coming towards the end of the first sector. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's purple. I don't know whether he's put any practice in for this, but there you go. Purple sector 1. Good start for the rookie.
Yeah, a really stacked grid, and it's already showing to be quite a tight order at the front. So it's currently Pez and Tommy Maitland. They all love a quick lap, these boys. It's currently 25.2. the fastest lap overall. We've got a few guys that did put on the medium for their first run at it, and we've got D-Money up to the line. What we do, P6 at 25.7. Let's catch up with that man, the newcomer, the new man. Doesn't get called that all too often. Got Mr. Snipes SB, and yeah, looking pretty tidy so far. He does like this Bahrain circuit, Matt.
Yeah, it's one of his strong ones. It's a bit of a pad track, really. Not gonna lie. I mean, who said that? I wouldn't want to cause an argument about pad tracks when we're
excuse me.
Oh, Snipes with the slam of the brakes. He wants to go on the mediums.
Surprise, surprise. Let's catch up with Drazzy, the man in form. He's had some excellent performances of late. And talking of late, Matt, I was actually supposed to commentate last week. I was sitting there, getting ready for the Imola Grand Prix, relaxing. I was just toasting some muffins. Then I got a phone call. And it said, "Where the F are you?" I said, "I'm sitting there having a cup of tea. Where the F are you?" They said, "Well, get your a-hole up to work because you're already an hour late." So I was like, damn. I had to get up, run, get to the shoe, up to central London. So apologies for that. But and big up Stato for stepping in and saving the day. He's currently down in 14th, Stato. We wish you all the luck today for saving the day, Superman. But yeah, glad to be back once again.
Unbelievable, Rich. I thought you just got called in last minute, not that you just seemed to forget you were working. Unbelievable.
I thought it was Monday, not Sunday, that my my free shift started. So yeah, a cataclysmic balls up is the polite way of saying it. So yes, terrible on my part, but yeah, glad to be back. So apologies to that for the grid for missing out last week. At least you had a nice stream for yourselves. So what's your predictions for pole position today, Matt? Who are we going for? Who's your pick?
Well, I would have gone Snipes. Always B4's gone round. Out of turn 4, has dropped it on the exits, kept it out of the barriers, and will be able to go again as he gets it facing the right way again. But a mistake there for Rooney. As a pole, yeah, I would have gone with Snipes, but considering it looks like he wants to go on the mediums, I'm going to go with the man who's currently fronting the grid, and that's CSR Pez for pole position.
Yeah, he's a quick lad, old CSR Pez. And he said, what did he say in the Discord a minute ago before we got going? About his pace today, man. What was it?
Probably that it was terrible, or something like that. He's not done any practice. He likes Bahrain, he's good here, and
Lies.
yeah.
Lies. Here comes Smegland up to the line. Oh, good lap from him. 25.123, and that is provisional P1 for him. Tommy Real, be one of the next cars up to the line. We've got a few cars up ahead of us though. Time's coming thick and fast, just under 8 minutes remaining of this qualifying session of these 16 runners here in the Bahrain International Circuit. Tommy Real improves and into the 24s. Good lad.
You love to see it. I was just about to say to you, my time trial best here is a 25 dead. We'll see where that would put me. It's already dropped me down into P2 as Tommy Real dropping into those 24s. Very strong time there for the Ferrari driver. We'll see if anyone can challenge that. Expect it to be Maitland and Pez, the ones getting close, and potentially B-Ford as well. If he gets that together, we know he struggles a lot more in qualifying than in the race.
Yeah, there's always that compromise. Do you run a sort of a one-lap setup where the car really comes alive when it's at its lightest and at its peak, or do you go for a bit more of a compromise setup where you're going to be better running with heavier fuel and potentially on like a harder compound of tyre, have a bit better tyre wear and more consistency to your game? And it definitely looks like he's gone from a Saturday man to maybe a Sunday man this season, without the main challenge of Stubbsy that used to race on the grid as well. A shame that he's not here today. He still does reserve in the grid. Just on board with James. I think he's going to abort.
We need to see B-Ford getting some challenge, I think, because we don't want to see him win every week. We got some people here who can definitely do it. I think Drazzy can do it. Tommy Real can pose the threat. Maitland, when he gets it together, Pez can. And today, of course, we've got Snipes here, who's definitely going to pose a big threat. Some very fast drivers here. It's just, can they take victory away from Mr. B-Ford? We'll find out.
So currently the grid separated by just under 2 seconds. You see that all definitely close up in the final moments of qualifying. Most drivers will either be on their second timed run or will be going back to pit lane as Vettel runs very wide on his hot lap there. It's the back out of it. So let's catch up with Stato. It's a bit loose on the rear end there. Very important to get good traction out of this corner down the back straight. It's going to give you a lot of lap time as we head uphill towards the curb of death, which will bite you on your right. Need to be tight, but not too tight. Very rewarding corner this one. If you hit the apex nicely, get on the power early, and again it's going to benefit you all the way down this next back straight and onto the final. Consider 2 corners here. And up to the line for Stato. Will he improve his 26.944? Yes, he does. So 26.1.
Meanwhile, Vettel crossed the line to go into P7 on a 25.6, puts himself up and deep into the pack. Not too far away from Guzzi, but I'm not sure Vettel will have the time to go again. We'll see. He might just do it, to be fair. 4 minutes here. It's about... Yeah, he can just about do it, I reckon. He's got to get a move on his in-lap.
D-Money a 25.1 and Pez improved with a 25.0. So they're coming in thick and fast, and a very impressive lap from that man Dingers.
Big Dingers, P4 at the moment, just behind CSR Maitland. On a 25.1 D-Money. I know he was saying his time trial best is a 25 dead, so to be 1/10 off of that in the qualifying session is pretty good going.
As he'll be kicking himself as he hasn't validated yet another flying attempt, it seems. We see him dive back into the pits for a fresh set. It does appear so. Maybe not enough fuel on board.
Oh, look who's come out onto the mediums then.
Who's that just popped up there? Lawn.
Nice, P5, 24.4, 3/10 off the car ahead, but he's 1/10 clear of James behind. We'll see if he can hold down that P5 for the rest of the session as the most of the pack are just getting their freshest set of tyres on, lowering those fuel loads and getting ready to go for one final run here at the Bahrain International Circuit.
Now talk us through, Matt, the thinking here. Snipes has gone out right at the end of the session on a medium tyre. What benefit does that have for either the qualifying or the race?
The qualifying, absolutely no benefits whatsoever. He's just going to be slower. He'll be looking to get into the top 10 if he can, but that might prove difficult. We'll see what he can put together. The big advantage to it, mate, is he can now confirm on the medium tyre do a one-stop, mediums to hards, whereas everyone around him starting on the softs, they can either stretch a soft to hard, which is doable, but it's not comfortable at all, and it is slower than the medium hard, or they're going to have to do a two-stop, and the two-stop is definitely slower. You do not want to be two-stopping if you can help it.
I don't think it's a given necessarily that he's even going to get in the top 10 here, is it? He's going to have to
I don't think it is either. Yeah, what? You've got a 25 flat roughly as the pole time. I'd say there's about a second in dropping down to the mediums. Puts him on a 25-ish. Oh yeah, 26. Come on, Matt, do some maths. 25 plus 1. That is indeed 26. Good stuff.
27. No,
math.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have got a maths exam tomorrow as well, Rich. So that's always good signs. But yeah, that would put him currently outside of the top 10, which you don't like to see, because when you're outside the top 10, you got a free choice of tyre anyway. Everyone there's going to go mediums or hards.
So he'll probably go for another time lap, knowing Snips only good enough for 14th, 26.0. He's going to carry on pushing.
There you go, like we said, a 26 dead. We got there in the end once we had to put that one into a calculator, obviously, because you can't do maths. He is going again, but he'll put some wear on those tyres. His battery, he's got to hope he doesn't hit the D rates at any point. I don't see him getting top 10.
Yeah, a massive gamble, but yeah, not looking good so far for Mr. Snips. It's currently Tommy Real, Pez and Maitland, the front three. We've got Maitland who's started a flying lap. We're just going to stay on board with Ludlow, because I think he's the next one to complete his qualifying session with just under 45 seconds remaining. D-Money has had enough. He's retired in pit lane.
D-Money happy with his lap. Snipes continuing to push on his final run. We'll see if he's improving. At the end of sector 2, he's not. He's 13 thousandths down on his personal best, and he has now invalidated. So Snipes on his debut, going on the medium tyre, and he's going to be P14 at best.
And we had an improvement for Ludlow, putting himself up into position 9. Also expect a big lap from Drazzy at the def here. He's put pressure on himself. We've got purple sector 2 for CSR Smegland. Looking good through the middle sector.
God, Smegland, let's see what he can put together as he now comes through the final corner. Can he put himself onto pole position? He was P3, he's just a 10th away from the pole. He crosses the line now, and that's provisional pole for CSR Mate. The next car to the line is Aki Ang. running up to line, is improving, goes to P11. Next up will be his teammate ROM Ford, who currently is not in the top 10, the championship leader, who is half a second up on his personal best time. Rounds the final corner. Can he move up the grid? And if he can, where to? Can he challenge Maitland for the pole? Or will he struggle to a P5? He does, goes exactly P5. 125.2 for the championship leader. Plenty of cars ahead of him. It's the two racing points next. First up is James, and then it'll be Weston's close behind. James crosses the line, stays P7. What about Weston's? He comes across the line, stays P13. Red Bull crossed the line there. We've got a Ferrari to the line. Is that Stato who goes up to P14, pushes Snipes down. Drazzy next to the line. He can go up to P6, goes ahead of his teammate. Next up, we are looking for Pez, who's coming to the line, and he can't take pole position away from CSR Maitland, and Tommy Real has backed off of his lap, so that leaves just Ludlow to be pushing, who has invalidated, and therefore it's CSR Maitland who's taken pole position for the Bahrain Grand Prix, who's 1 second ahead of CSR Pez, and then it's Tommy Real P3, D-Money P4, and then B Ford, Drazzy, Yanni Yen's got up to P7 there, Lorne, James, Ludlow, Vettel, Aki Am, Weston, Stato, Snipes, and Dunsworth to round out the grid. Skills, I'm out of breath, do some talking.
Yeah, I'm not impressed. Both Maitland and Pez told me they're not going to be on the pace today. They've absolutely sucker punched me there, and they've got 1 and 2 on the grid. The AlphaTauri leading the sister Red Bull team. Tommy Real, good qualifying. He did mess up on his last run there, but still secures P3 on the grid. And we've got Big Dingers, very impressive there, performance for him, probably one of his best qualifyings of the campaign in P4. And it's looking good for the Grand Prix. It's probably going to come down to strategy now. B Ford, of course, leading the championship. Talking of which, I'll get a quick recap of that just now. Here's your final qualifying standings. As you can see, everyone on the soft tyre apart from Snipes, who's outside the top 10 anyway, and will not... won't need to get through on those mediums. But in terms of the championship, it's that man ROM B Ford. He's had 6 wins to his name, 2 pole positions and 2 fastest laps, and that is equated to 219 points. His biggest challenger is currently Drazzy, and Drazzy is going to start this Grand Prix just behind him. The two separated by the smallest of margins there, as we can see from that qualifying. But there's a big gap in terms of the championship fight, and it's a 56 points is the amount that he needs to close in on. But in the last 3 races, Drazzy has had 2 victories. He's had 4 over the season. He's had 4 pole positions and no fastest laps to his name. He's on 163 points. There's Tommy Real in P3 on 109 points, a further 54 back from Drazzy. And then we have Pez, who's been slipping down the order of late. In the last 3 races, he's had 2 DNFs. And he needs a bit of consistency and a good point scoring today. It's been a shame we haven't seen Dacey of late. He's currently 5th in the standings on 87 points. And consecutive non-starts. This will be his 4th in a row, unfortunately. We've got Lucky Lambert in P6, James P7, then it's Lorne, Fronhoff, Yanni Jans, Weston, Ludlow, Maitland. 5 DNFs on the spin. He just needs to bring it to the flag today. He's that man on pole position. Celtic in 14th. Matthew Connerbeer is actually down in 15th for yourself. Then we've got Pullen, we've got D-Money, Stato, Aki, Cosme, Vettel, Shaney, Givads, Dunsworth and Camo in terms of the drivers' standings. In terms of the constructors, it's Mercedes leading the way, and they're on 245 points, and 23 points behind them it's McLaren, then Ferrari, Racing Point, AlphaTauri, Alfa Romeo, Haas, Williams, Renault and Red Bull. In terms of the team with the most wins, it is McLaren with 6 wins to Mercedes 4, but you can just see the consistency of the Mercedes has really proved worthy so far. We'll take a short break. I'll be back.
Skills. He's gone to get some more alcohol probably. If I know him, he's run out. Needs to go quickly down to the shop, grab some more, because he always drives having had several beers, so I'm sure he does comms just the same. We got this Bahrain circuit at night time under the lights, and I think that really makes this circuit something unique. One of only, what is it, 3 circuits that race at night? Here, Abu Dhabi and Singapore, I do believe, are the only night races on the calendar. And it is nice. We've been here under the lights since 2014. Of course, the first race here was way back in 2004. That race won by Michael Schumacher in his Ferrari. Of course, that was the year that Schumacher basically won everything. I think it was 13 out of the 18 races that season, which is, I don't know if it's the best win rate for a driver in a season, but it's definitely up there. A very strong season for him. We've had some good races here under the lights at Bahrain. Of course, we had this season with the Verstappen v Hamilton strategic battle and then on-track battle. We had Charles Leclerc being robbed of his first win in 2019. Vettel limping home on very worn tyres ahead of Bottas in 2018. We go back a few more years to 2014, that titanic battle between the two Mercedes, Hamilton versus Rosberg. And that really did sort of set the scene for the championship battle that would take place over the next 3 seasons. Other highlights for the Bahrain Grand Prix, potentially you could argue 2010 to be a highlight as well. Fernando Alonso winning on his Ferrari debut and almost winning the championship that year as well. I'll tell you what else is good. Fernando Alonso back in Formula 1. Although he's not had the smoothest possible first 2 races. He has, he's got 1 point because of some post-race penalties last time out at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But yeah, he's just struggling, I think. We need to give him time, I think, for all the drivers who are in new teams, so Ricciardo, Vettel, Sainz, give them time to adapt to their new cars and get used to it. But yeah, that's the other big surprise, isn't it, this new season? Because it's not just Alonso struggling in Alpine, it's Alpine just struggling in general, as well as Aston Martin. The 2 teams that finished 4th and 5th in the Constructors last season. This season, I'm thinking maybe we'll finish 6th and 7th, to be honest. I think this season it'll be Red Bull and Mercedes 1 and 2. P3 will be McLaren, P4 Ferrari. 5th, I think AlphaTauri, if they get it together. They've not had a clean weekend so far, but I think once they do, they are going to be a real force to be reckoned with, especially with their driver lineup, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. Then it will be in P6 and 7, Aston Martin and Alpine, and that will just be between whichever one of them sort of gets their cars together the most and sort of gets a bit of luck in getting more points finishes. And then it will probably be Alfa Romeo P8, Williams P9, and Haas down in P10. Of course, they're not really developing their car this year. It's more of a sort of learner car for Nikita and Mick, and boy, do they need it after what we've seen so far. You can definitely tell that they are rookies on the grid. Nikita Mazepin. It was quite funny watching Sky Sports coverage of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Nikita Mazepin spun in the final few laps, and I think they said, oh, the yellow flags have come out, someone's gone off. I think Mazepin was in that area. And then as they showed the replay of Mazepin spinning, Anthony Davidson goes, yep, it is Mazepin, never fails to disappoint. And I think that just sums it up nicely. I do believe Skills is back with me now. Are you there? Have you got your alcoholic beverage of choice? I've told them all that that's where you went to go get.
That's a negative. We've gone for the squash today. We're trying to detox after last night. But yes, Mazepin, he should either come with L plates on the car or a definite warning. We should have bright yellow stickers all over it, and maybe some bigger bumpers, maybe a bit of foam around the edges there, just to protect himself more than anyone else. But yeah, what a waste of space he is. And tough car though, tough car for both the drivers. We saw it even with the Mick Schumacher. They would have learnt a lot in that last Grand Prix. Of course, Mick Schumacher having a very difficult time damaging the front wing on the exit of the pit lane there in Imola, and then having to wait because the pit lane was closed for so long in order to repair it, running around there. And yeah, some good experience for Mick. and expect big things from him. As we can see, the predicted tyre strategies here, looking at a two-stop race. Apart from those who were starting on the mediums, like Matt said before, we've got Vettel, Aki, we've also got Snipes starting with a hard-on. You don't see that every day. And Dunsworth also on the mediums. We're going to hand over as usual for round 13 of the ROM Championship here in the Bahrain International Circuit to the one, the only, it's Matthew Conobia.
Thank you, Skills. You love telling everybody who's got a hard on, don't you? And it is indeed today. Snipes SB in P15 starting on the hard tyre. Dunsworth has pulled into his grid slot. And now we await the 5 red lights to come on ahead of the drivers. And here they come. It's Maitland on the pole position. And we are racing in Bahrain, and Maitland looks to have got a clean getaway, but it's a great start for CSR Pez as he looks to the inside. Tommy Real in the background as well, looking to the inside. Who's going to go latest on the brakes into turn 1? Maitland looks to hold his lead, and he has done. Tommy Real and Pez continue to battle, and it's Pez who's going to win out on that one, and he takes himself up into P2. Tommy Real tucks into the slipstream, potentially looking at the move into turn 4 as they run up the hill now, and it's Tommy Real who's just going to tuck in behind. B4 there in P4 as well. He's getting ready to make the moves and move up the order. We see that so often from him in the race, and they're all getting through the first corners cleanly.
Both the Renaults with an excellent start. We've got Snipes up a number of positions now, but that man, he's converted the pole position so far, and everyone just settling down for the race start. Tommy Real looked like an absolute rocket down towards turn 1, just couldn't get the move done.
Ludlow on the inside of RSF1 Vettel there into turn 10, and he's holding on to take that P12 position. Now Vettel struggling, coming under threat from the other Alfa Romeo of Dunsworth, who just chooses to tuck in behind. Nothing doing there for him. And Stato in behind there in P15. But yeah, good stuff from Maitland off the line, maintaining his lead, and it's Pez in P2 and Tommy Real P3, and B Ford having a decent start. D-Money losing 1 place off the line, and we'll see what B Ford can do now as we head into this race. We know he's such a much better racer than he is a qualifier. We're going to see how he does and see how long it takes Maitland to bottle it, because we know Maitland's quite good at that one as well.
And the timing screen has had a meltdown. I thought there was a bit of action for us, but not quite. Pez is closing in on the lead of the Grand Prix, coming down towards turn 1. Dunsworth's going to have a look round the outside of RSF1 Vettel, who is actually ghosting, or is he? It doesn't look like it. It looks like a bit of contact there on the apex. They both live to fight another day. And yes, he's still in the race here. Stato just hanging back, waiting for his opportunity. On those soft tyres, needs to get a move on. Double quick's going to go to the inside. Takes a bit too much out of that inside curb. And here we go. It's that meltdown time.
Just getting ourselves sorted with that timing tower now. But yeah, the soft runners need to get on with it. They need to make sure they're all up ahead of those on mediums and hards, and then pull away, because they're the ones who are going to be struggling the most as this race progresses on.
It looks close up front. Expect Pez to maybe make a move on the next lap or so. I think they'll be in the party talking to each other. But the gloves will come off very shortly. Further down, Dunsworth and Stato swapping positions. And Stato now up to P14.
Sorry, Drazzy just touched the curb of death there on the inside, and that was almost a big accident, but he does manage to keep it facing the right way, and doesn't lose too much time in the process. We now head on to lap 3, and the DRS will be enabled for the drivers as Maitland sets the fastest lap of the race. Pez not close enough to do anything into turn 1. We'll see if he wants to get the move done or just use Smeggers for the DRS. We'll see what comes of it. Tommy Real will also be hoping to get in on some of that DRS action, as the top 5 just slightly breaking away a little bit from the rest of the pack.
I said earlier that both the Renaults had a good start. I was actually lying, because Yanni Jans is down 3 positions, but Snipes is up 4. The other winners are James, currently in P6, up 3 positions on his grid slot, and the top 3 have held position so far.
Yeah, they all just all getting through cleanly. I saw on that start when Tommy Real was looking to the inside, I thought he was going to absolutely send it, but he did the right thing, was cautious. He knows you can't win races on the first lap, and they've all survived the opening phases. Look how close Pez is to the back of Maitland. He's definitely got the pace here early on.
He's got the pace, and I think he's playing the smart game. He's probably saving a bit of ERS at this point, and you just want the car ahead of you to start squeezing every inch of energy out of that car. and then that's when there'll be time to really send it. Now with the DRS is going to be in effect as well. It's probably going to be that time very soon.
Here we go then, as they come onto the main straight. Lock up there for Maitland. That's going to cost him on the exit. And it's now going to be Big Bull versus Little Bull. Who's going to win out on this one? It's Pez in the slipstream with the DRS. And he's gaining all the time on Maitland. He's going to go to the inside. Maitland puts up very little defence. And that's CSL Pez getting through. Watch for Tommy Real in the background as he's closing up on these two as well. And it's Pez who's through. And here comes Tommy Real. Pulls alongside Maitland. And he's just going to have the door slammed on him as they come into turn 3. Maitland defending well there to only lose one position and not two, as Tom Real was looking to capitalise on the battle ahead as he gets very close to the car ahead in the braking zone. And that's Tommy Real with a major drop of traction, and that allows B4 to go through there. Oh, it was almost like Vettel in 2019 there, battling with another car and then just dropping it under traction.
So in the background we had James battling Drazzy there. He's getting the gloves off. Good respectful racing from the pair of them. Weston's Yanni Yans and Snipes closing in on a points paying position. Of course, he started on that hard tyre, will have the advantage late on, but he doesn't need any early incidents. Oh, it's a big snap of oversteer there, coming onto the back straight for Snipes.
Got James very close to the back of Drazzy, potentially looking to get that move done. Drazzy dropping back a little bit as well. Drazzy and James have dropped back from that top 5. That gap up to 2 seconds. So we may have already seen sort of 2 separate DRS trains forming here as the leaders get ready to make their way on to the pit straight once again. And this time it's Pez who leads. It's Big Bull ahead of Little Bull. Maitland in hot pursuit, but I think he's just going to, for now, sit behind and use him for that DRS. Then it's B Ford and Tommy Real holding on in P4 after that mistake we saw just a few moments ago.
Yeah, James is gaining, he's gaining. He's going to pull to the inside and he's going to send one up there. Expect the Mercedes to look for the inside line there. There's going to be a pinch point there, and smartly he gets out of it there and lives to fight another day.
Yeah, playing very smart there.
Poor day.
Any collisions early
Weston's and Yanni Yuds. Wheel to wheel stuff. Who's going to pull out? It's the racing point.
Meanwhile, Vettel now ahead of Ludlow. Ludlow struggling on those soft tyres, and we're already getting to the point here. It's a very high degradation circuit here at Bahrain. The soft runners are going to begin to start struggling very, very soon, and we'll see which one of them wants a 2-stop and who wants to 1-stop. For a 2-stop, we predict the pit stop around about, well, anywhere from now and lap 8, and for the 1-stop, you want to be trying to get to lap 10-ish to put on a set of hard tyres.
I'll tell you what, Tommy Real, he wants some payback here. Or say payback, he wants his position back. Of course, that mistake cost him P3. You can see it right in front of him, and he's all over the back of B Ford. Is he going to send it down towards turn 1? He's all over the back of that McLaren as he gets a bit of oversteer there out the last corner, does B Ford, and that is just going to give more incentive to Tommy. But of course, they both have the DRS, and this one it can become a bit stale, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely it can, and Tommy Real, I think he chose not to use his overtake button as well there, which was an interesting one, just maybe choosing to save it, maybe for now, as he did hit the button there on the exit of turn 3. I thought he was maybe going to try and have a go into turn 4, but he was a bit too far behind. And we are seeing the first of the guys into the pits, as Weston's has just dropped a place, and he's dropping another place. I think Weston's may have made a mistake there. Oh, late braking from Vettel, nearly wiped out Snipes SB. That was dangerous. Snipes up into P8 on the hards, as we have had 3 cars come into pit lane. That's James, Yannians and Ludlow.
Big moment for Weston's there. Just caught it. What's happened to Ludlow?
Aye. Unbelievable scenes, Jeffrey. But yeah, the bottom 3 have boxed for the medium tyre. They've gone for the 2-stop strategy, so up to them it's now time to push on and close up the gap to the cars ahead.
Looks like Tommy's had a big moment coming around that triple left-hander there onto the back straight, and yeah, he's dropped out of DRS range now, 1.3 seconds behind B Ford. He's going to have to look for an undercut to try and make this time back up.
Aki has just made a move on Stato for P11, and that's more signs that the soft tyres are struggling, and Stato just got a little bit loose there. But absolutely now Tommy Real out of the DRS range, and this is big for D Money, as who's that coming into the pits? It's ROM B Ford. Let's see what size he goes on to. I think it's got to be mediums. I don't think you can get hards to the end from here. Let's see, and it is the medium tyre, 2-stop for ROM Ford.
Interesting call. I think we're going to see a big mix in the strategy here. It looks like the front two, we're going to have to try and extend now and look to go to the hards.
I think this is where the league racing experience of Maitland especially and Paz is going to come in handy, because they know the 2-stop at Bahrain, as much as the game tells you it's the strategy to do on, it just does not work. Unless there's safety cars to help you, you will not make up the time, and the 1-stop is the way to go. I think Pez and Maitland are going to do that. We'll see what Tommy Real does. I know D-Money will be in a party with Maitland, so I'm assuming they'll be communicating and he'll be doing the same. So yeah, interesting to see what Tommy Real does, and interesting to see what kind of pace then B Ford will have then on his ultimate strategy.
Yeah, of course, Snipes yet to stop, but currently up in P6. Coming under attack from Vettel, though, who's on those medium tyres. Snipes will have those mediums later, and we expect Vettel to slap on a set of hards for his final stint here in Bahrain. Lap 7 of 29. It's currently Pez, Maitland, Tommy Real, D-Money, Drazzy, Snipes, Vettel, Westerns, Aki, Stato, Dunsworth, and then your guys who have been in the box already of B Ford, James, Lorne, Yanni and Ludlow.
Go on board with Vettel, I think, because I do believe he's about to have a go here on Snipes. He's got no battery. Something I think I've seen in the last few weeks, perhaps. Vettel ought to work on is his battery management. It's not going to matter, though, because he has got the straight line speed. Snipes choosing not to defend this one, and it's down the inside for Vettel into turn 1, and he puts himself past into 5th place, as we've got 2 more cars in the pits. That's Drazzy, who's fitted medium tyres. He's 2-stopping, and Westerns, who I think is doing the same.
Yeah, I think that came as a bit of a welcome relief for Snipes there. He's just going to regain some of that energy lost in really pushing through that first stint now. And Pez looks really comfortable out front.
Yep, Pez is doing what he needs to do, as the 2 Mercedes have swapped positions. As there's a Renault gone around, sorry, that's Yanni Ans, who's had a spin coming out of turn 4. I saw the 2 Mercedes had swapped places on the timing tower. I'm not sure whether Yanni Ans was involved there at all in a collision, or whether he's just dropped it on his own. But that's Yanni Ans, who's spun around and is now dropped to the back, as Dunsworth and Stato swapping places in the battle for P8. It's Dunsworth on the medium tyre passing Stato, and you can really see the Ferrari struggling on those tyres. He's got no rear grip at all. Really overheated those tyres somewhere. Potentially he's had a spin or something go wrong for him, because he's really struggling. As that is Pez into pit lane. Let's see, mediums or hards? What are we saying?
It's got to be hards.
It is hards.
Be interesting where he comes back out, where he feeds into the pack. Another yellow flag. There's someone off. Who is that? Oh, it's Maitland.
Oh, it's Maitland. Of course it's Maitland. Oh, sorry, Smeggers. He stayed out maybe just 1 lap too late on those soft tyres. He was out managing this one so comfortably in P2. He just inherited the race lead after Pez had come into pit lane, and your pole sitter is now down behind Snipes, and they both got 1 stop to go of Snipes and Maitland. So Snipes, from the back of the grid, is now already ahead of the pole sitter.
Mamma mia. As we've got Drazzy closing in on D-Money. D-Money's opted for the hard tyre. We'll go to the end. Drazzy on those mediums will be extending, and will be coming into the pits 1 more time. So he needs to get this done pretty quickly, as well as Lorne. We need to make light work of the car of D-Money.
Maitland still struggling on those softs. He just got loose again coming out of turn 11. He really needs to get into the pits at the end of this lap and come off of them. Those tyres have absolutely had it.
So Tommy Real out of the final corner. Will we see him go into pit lane? No, we don't. Stays out for yet another lap on his soft tyres. Vettel currently in P2 on those mediums. He'll be going deep into the race. And Maitland gives up the go. And he's going to swap out those soft tyres for a set of hards.
Indeed, as here comes B4 down the inside of Dunsworth into turn 1, puts himself up into P5. Of course, that is B4 on far fresher medium tyres on his 2-stop strategy. And he'll be hoping for a safety car now to come out at just the right time for him, and that will bring him right back up into this one. If there's no safety car, I don't think he's really got much of a chance here.
Already seen one Mercedes get past D-Money, and it's Lawn's turn next. Just lining up the AlphaTauri up ahead of him. Of course, on different strategies. Need to get it done pretty quickly, otherwise he's going to lose out on the DRS to his teammate up ahead of him. Field pretty spread out at this point. It should converge a bit more once we've got more people, and that's Maitland again around. Pushing too hard on those hard tyres. He's got damage. Damage from Maitland.
Aye, aye, aye.
Bad
Not
to
ideal
bad
for
to
Maitland.
worse. He's locked up now. He's got no downforce. And the worst thing is, he's going to have to stop again. He's going to stop now. Tommy in the pits. He only gets one set of hards, remember.
Oh, that is pain for Maitland. He'll need a safety car for sure to bring him back into this one now, as he's just taken out the Rolex board for the fun of it. The pole, it's just all gone wrong in those last few laps for the pole sitter. Two mistakes on separate occasions, and it's really cost him here. Unfortunate for Maitland.
Yeah. Oh, D-Money just riding. Oh, the rear wing there. Oh, that corner is killer. It's caught out a few drivers already. Dingers was looking so good there. Those hard tyres just bit him. They do take quite a few laps to really bed in and to get confident with it. And that is now 6 DNFs in a row for CSR Maitland.
It's AlphaTauri's both having spins in quick succession. Not good signs for us tomorrow as we drive the AlphaTauri at Singapore.
It's too good, too bad, Matt. We've seen the two bads. We're gonna have two goods, okay?
Okay, I understand. We'll smash it tomorrow. I got it. 1-2, easy dub.
Pear's getting itchy feet now behind Dunsworth, looking for a send.
Yeah. There's no urgency with this one. It should just be a nice straightforward pass as he now hits the throttle, and he will open the DRS, and I doubt Dunsworth will defend this one at all. The two in very different phases of the race, and indeed he does not. That's Pez through up into P5.
Tommy and James, they're going at it.
That is Tommy Real now into P7 ahead of James. James, who will have, migrating host. B4's left the session. I'm getting on that now.
Fail 85. Fail 85. Cody's, you make a great game, but my God, come on, oh man, Wundersein. How many times do we see this happen? Yeah. Got a message from B Ford. Have you invited him?
I have invited him.
He's had the message. He's had the message.
Aye. Yeah, good job, Cody's kicking out Mr. B Ford. And that has cost him big time on he could not afford to lose any time on a two-stop strategy. And now he's going to really pull down the order because the AI is so slow. As it should be, because you don't want people going into AI to gain an advantage at all. But you do feel maybe we ought to, in league races, just turn it up a little bit so that you don't lose out quite so much when you get kicked from a lobby.
The problem with that is, some people do exploit it if they're struggling in maybe a wet condition and stuff like that. So I do agree with having it a bit low as well. Tommy Real getting past Dunsworth down into T1 there. Another man recovering and going to get past B Ford, is it? B Ford has joined. Now, when does it throw him back in the car? This is always an interesting thing to see. He's got James who's about to insert himself into that McLaren as B Ford is trying to hop into that seat. Dunsworth as well. I think B4 was just going to take control. Oh, he's dropping like a stone.
At least the AI hasn't pitted him, or I don't know what's done to his fuel, but it's not drained his battery too bad. That's often what the AI does. You do a pit stop, takes all your battery, drains all your fuel, and you're left with nothing. He's now down to P9. It's far worse losing actual places. He does now take control of the car. Yeah, he's lost out big time there. That's ROM Ford. Whoa, where's he going?
Oh no! Yeah, he must have just got the control at the wrong point there, and it's gone from bad to bad to bad to bad to bad. Dunsworth having a moment as well, losing out on positions there as Vettel has boxed. Snipes takes the lead, yet to stop. Pez now in P2, and that is the net race lead. CSR Pez going for the one-stop strategy. And in control at the minute, you'd say, Matt. Out front, Pez.
Doing what he needs to do, Snipes. It'll be interesting to see whether he goes to mediums or to softs at the end. We'll see how far he can stretch this stint.
Well, he's got plenty of fresh softs anyway, isn't he? Because he scrubbed a set, slowed down at the line. They should have at least 2 more fresh sets of that red walled soft tyre. There's a bit of a queue forming behind D-Money. Aki's just come out on a fresh hard. B Ford as well is going to be looking to make up some positions. And yeah, it's not gone well for those guys two-stopping.
No, I didn't think it would. It's just not a really viable strategy here. As much as the game will try and tell you it is, it just never works out. You want to try and avoid it at all costs. Snipes doing that in the most extreme way, starting on the hard tyres. And I think he's pulling along still at quite good pace with Snipes. I'm just going to check the race director and just check his lap times. Yeah, he's just set his personal best lap of 29.8, so he's been holding on very nicely on those hard tyres.
B-Ford's weaving behind Aki. He's like, get out the way, come on, move!
Yeah, B Ford obviously probably not in the best of moods after what has just unfolded as Dunsworth pulls into pit lane. Here we go then, here goes Aki on the inside of D-Money, and B Ford's going to get involved as well. That's going to end badly, and that's a big lock up there for B Ford. I thought we were going to see another new episode of Total Wipeout there. That was brave.
That was brave, that was a hot-headed move there. You don't want to stick your nose in there, and it just cost him the momentum out of that corner as well. We see Yannian's having a little dance in the background as well. D-Money doing well to hold on. There's D-Money and Aki on the same strategy. Aki with the freshest of hard tyres out of the pair of them now.
Indeed, we also got we got Drazzy also on back of James, and I'm just thinking, is Drazzy maybe feeling that overtake coming on sometime soon? They've both got fairly even battery. It'll be Drazzy with the slipstream and the DRS advantage. We'll see if he can use that to power.
Oh! Off! D-Money spun it for the second time today. Oh, and how B4 didn't collect him. I think he's had a big moment there trying to get out of it, because he was right under the back of that AlphaTauri, and that's the problem. If you're that close to the car ahead and he has a moment, you're having one too.
It's just not been a strong race for the AlphaTauri drivers. D-Money with his second spin of the race. Maitland, of course, having already had one. I think D-Money is going to come into the pits.
Up the inside of James. Nice move there for the Mercedes driver. Puts himself up into P4.
We've got Yannians and B Ford. Yannians just put a move on B Ford. That's P11. B Ford will fight back straight away on the run up to turn 4 though, and take that P11. The McLaren driver, yeah, he's still got one more pit stop to go in this one, and he really now needs that safety car to bring him back into this.
Yeah, B4's not had much luck today. and down the back straight. Just saw it in the background there. Vettel, they go free. Oh, it's almost a freeway battle there. James and Vettel still going at it. And it's going to be the Red Bull that comes out in front. Again, James on that two-stop strategy. Can't be getting held up by these hard runners.
Yeah, these guys have got to worry about Snipes. Where's he going to come out? I'm just going to check. Gap to leader. Snipes, if we say it's a 23-second pit stop, he's going to come out currently P7 as... Oh, two of them fake to the pits and James actually goes in. They are going to battle though, because here comes Vettel on the inside of Drazzy as they arrive at the first corner. Who's latest on the brakes? It's RSF on Vettel on the hard compound tyre, who pulls clear and into P4. But it's going to be Drazzy now who'll get the DRS on their run up towards turn 4. He's got the battery. He's gaining all the time. Can he go for this one? He's going to try and go the long way around the outside, like Verstappen tried on Hamilton. But it's not going to work out, and it's Vettel who holds on for P4.
Just for the time being, but they're hanging on by the slenderest of margins. And yeah, Vettel in a good spot here. Can go to the end of the Grand Prix. If he plays his cards right, he could be on for a podium. He's not all that far away from Tommy, if he has a moment.
Check the race director for our race leader, who in his last 5 laps has done 130.5, so he's got very consistent and steady pace on that hard tyre. Still got plenty of life in them by the looks of it, but that doesn't matter. He's chosen now is the time to come into the pit, so he's managed that stint very well. Suffered no real tyre drop off at the end. I think he's going to put medium tyres on. I was just about to make the point, could he get far enough to go to soft, but he's going to go medium. Let's see where he comes out then.
As B Ford still tucked up behind his teammate. Let's keep an eye on Snips. Vettel is going to whiz on by, is he? Yeah, that's one. Going to come out behind Drazzy. Good spot there.
Yeah, we had Lorne just pull into the pits for his and a few of the guys on the two-stop strategy, making their final pit stop for the race. But Snipes, how far is he off the lead? He's not that far away, is he?
Not at all.
Let's have a look. How is it? 8.7 seconds off the lead with 10 laps to go. He's got a major tyre advantage at the end now. If he can get his head down, I wouldn't count him out on this one. Tommy Real's quite close to Pez as well now, isn't he?
Very close. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Pez there. Maybe struggling, maybe had a moment.
Well, Tom Real very much in DRS range and potentially thinking about getting the move done sometime soon. The gap currently at 5/10. It's a bit too far back to make any kind of lunge into turn 1, but if he'll have the DRS and maybe a bit of battery just to help him close up down the main straight, could we see the Ferrari make the move for the race lead?
Tommy Real with 2-lap younger tyres of that hard compound. You've got to play the long game here. You don't want to go too early either, do you, Matt? Because you're going to be liable for the other car to have a go at you as well. But as they come down into turn 1, not quite close enough. Snipes, though, right under the rear wing. He's going to have a fresher tyre as well. He's going to be confident on the brakes there. Nothing too rash. To try and get the switchback done here. Get on the power nicely. You can see Drazzy struggling to get the power down now on them scrubbed mediums. He's going to defend very much so. We've got Vettel up ahead of us as well. Be careful. Drazzy's going to try and squeeze us on the exit here. Oh, he's going to go the long way around. Beautiful move.
Lovely move for Snipes down the outside, and I think Drazzy just fought that one a little bit too hard there. I think 10 laps to go. Snipes has got such a tyre advantage. Of course, Drazzy, I'm assuming, is going to pit again anyway. Just using a lot of battery there. There was really no need to. I think he should have just maybe thought that one through a bit more and just sort of let Snipes go. Because these 3 ahead of him now for Snipes, these are the big ones. These are the ones who are going to the end of the race. And these are the ones he's racing for track position. And he's already onto the back of RSF1 Vettel.
I think it's more likely we'll get a position swap for the battle of P3 now between Vettel and Snipes. And if Vettel's got any sense about him, he's not going to fight Snipes too hard, and then he's going to try and stay with him for as long as possible and hopefully get towed up towards the lead fights now.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see then. What do they do? Vettel has not hit the overtake
Comes
button.
Tommy! Down the inside in towards turn 1. He's gone for it. He's gone deep. He's on the curb. He's broken traction and Pez gets the position back. Meanwhile, Vettel and Snipes battling. Oh, and he covers off the apex nicely, but it's in vain. He's going to have the power. The DRS, here he comes.
Oh, it's going to get squeezed to the inside there. Late move from Vettel. Leaves the space on the inside as they come through turn 4. And Vettel, for now, is just about going to hold on to P3. Again, I think it's one you don't need to fight really that much, because you're not going to hold Snipes back for the next 10 laps. You may as well just let him go and use him to carry you to the leaders, especially when they're battling there. As we saw Tom Aril make the move down the inside, just went a bit too deep, got on the curb, and that's what's caused him to lose traction, and Pez could just steam back on through and back into the race leads.
Yeah, Snipes has to get it done this lap. He's got to use this tyre advantage whilst he has it. Drazzy all over the back of Stato. He's got a fresh set of mediums on. Be looking to get the move done ASAP. Gonna take a wider line, try to get on the power nicely. Stato's struggling for power here. Could have a move down the back straight even before the DRS is opened. He's up alongside him, and Drazzy moves himself up into P9.
Snipes onto the main straight then. Is this going to be the lap that he gets it done? And look at that, Vettel already with the DRS from the battery. Snipes this time will use some of his overtake button just to make sure. Vettel goes to the inside, trying to be defensive, but there's no need, because Snipes with the straight line speed. As he's just hit the back of the Renault there, as he got on the curb under braking, did Vettel, and that's what caused him to just slide into the back of Snipes. Only a little kiss, so nothing lost, as Westons now makes his final stop of the afternoon.
Vettel is not making friends at the minute, is he? I know Snipes is the new kid on the block, but he's getting a bit bullied at the minute whenever he comes up towards someone.
The Snipes has then got, 8 laps now to close down a 5-second gap to Tom Aril and Pez ahead, and then he can see if he can take this race win.
B4's pretty much rolled the dice and gone on a set of soft tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, currently sitting in P11. A few cars up ahead of him with penalties, so one car, so he could make up some positions here.
Yeah, that's what he'll be hoping for, just to salvage something from his afternoon. Not a good race for him after that disconnect. I've just seen into turn 8, the hairpin. There's a lovely bit of black on the track from where everyone has just been locking up. Like a whole different colour down there.
Yeah, everyone leaving their mark on the circuit. Lockups are very favourable on this. Be very different, Matt, if flat spots were a thing.
Oh, Snipes would be terrible if flat spots were a thing. He locks up all the time, like you watch him, especially in the wet. He's just every corner locking up the tyres, and I'm just like thinking, if this game was a little bit more realistic, he would be nowhere locking up that much. But yeah, maybe something Cody's need to work on.
So we got Drazzy getting past his teammate. Also, I'm not going to put up too much of a fight there. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Mercedes doing very well in the constructors, but today it's not been going their way so far. They've got Aki up ahead of them, and it's going to have a target on his back. Need to hunt him down.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what you said about locking up. I'm actually now on board with Snipes so far this lap. He's about halfway through. Seen him lock up 4 times. Oh, I'm not going to count that. That was just a little squeal from the tyres. 4 times he's locked up in half a lap. Make that 5 times. Another lock up for the Renault. It's got to be doing something to your tyre wear, that, surely.
Well, it's further down the order. We've got Ludlow and Stato going at it. Ludlow gets on by. And this is the battle for P9 on track, and B4 just...
Tommy Riddle's closing for the battle for the lead. He's going to be close enough to make the send to the inside into turn 1. Has he got it done this time? He's got it stopped. Pez still there on the outside. Leave each other space, boys, as Pez looked like he got squeezed across the curve there. Won't be happy with that one. Tommy Riddle then has taken the race lead, but it's Pez who will now have to tuck him behind, and all the time these guys are battling. That just allows Snipes to close up. As B-Cord puts himself ahead of Stato. What? Was that a fair move from Real, or did he get a bit too punchy there?
He did get punchy, sort of. I mean, he was in the commanding position there. He took his line, but yeah, there'll be no Christmas card sent between this pair.
Well, I should hope not. Christmas isn't for another, like, 8 months. If you're sending Christmas cards now, mate,
Well, he's off
I
the
think we need
list.
to get you a calendar.
He's off the list.
I know what you mean. Yeah, Pez will be looking to get that one back at the earliest of opportunities, as Tommy doesn't have much battery left. He's just hovering around that 10%, hitting the D-rates at the end of the straights, and that's going to cost him in this one, as Pez with far better ERS to play with.
Snipes is loving it.
Well.
It's like, yeah, battle, go for it, boys. Send it. Use your battery up, because I'm there, ready and waiting. Tommy Real already derating down the straight. Pez has got him in his sights, and he's going to look to put another number on him. As yeah, a move there from the Ferrari down the inside. He's going to break deep. Pez going to look for the switchback here. Not much room on this apex now to get around the outside, so we're going to have to use the second part of the DRS here. Tommy Real is going to move. It's quite questionable how many moves we're making here. You need to pick a line, boys. And he's going to get squeezed out onto the curb there. And Pez, we got contact. Almost
Major contact there. Major contact between the two of them. Nearly resulted in them both going off. And Snipes, like you say, absolutely loving this right now. It's like Hamilton and Rosberg, isn't it? I was saying pre-race, one of the highlights at Bahrain was that Hamilton-Rosberg battle of 2014. And we're seeing some sort of recreation of it here by Tommy Real and Pez. And Snipes about to get in on the act as well. He's just 2.5 seconds off this battle for the race lead.
It's heating up. It's going to boil down to the last couple of laps. Who's got something left in the tank? Who's got a bit of tread left on the tyres? And who's got a bit of ERS to boot? There's now 2.3 seconds separates the top 3 cars in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Lap 24 of 29. Let's go.
We go then on to the back straight once again, and it's going to be Pez who will have the DRS. He went to the outside last time. If he wants to do it now, he'll go to the inside, surely try and change it up. Tommy Real for now holds his line. He's got one defensive move he can make. Will he go for it? No, holds his line on the outside. Pez then down the inside into someone, but he's gone in very deep there. That's going to allow the Ferrari to switch back at him, having a look at the outside of turn 2, but choosing to play it safe and not go for it. He'll now get the DRS as they head up towards turn 4. It's going to be Tommy who this time has to go late on the brakes to the outside. Has he got the grip? He's looking to send it, but he just washes out wide. And Pez surely can fight back now as they're still side by side, running down to the S's. And it's Tommy Real who tucks in behind, but he's going to get a better launch now as they look down towards turn 8. Can he make the move here? Just a bit too far behind. Snipes now 1.6 seconds off this battle as Tommy Real really pressuring Pez.
This is just perfect. Snipes has got a front row seat to this action up front. And hopefully, he's just hoping that they push each other wide off circuit or have a moment like they did before. And he's going to be there to grab it with both hands.
Here comes Tommy Real on the inside for turn 11, late on the brakes, launches it up the inside, puts himself past, but Pez fighting back, and there's contact, and Pez is in the wall.
Oh, no. They overstepped it there.
Oh,
Clip
no,
for what you just got.
Pez.
Clip for it, because I caught the end of it. We'll clip it.
We'll make sure we've got the clips of it. But yeah, that is heartbreak for Pez. He'd had such a good race. But Tommy Real and Pez, they were racing aggressively, and they've come together here, and there will be a Stewart inquiry into that one. Sniped, meanwhile, almost in DRS range of Tommy Real. I'm not sure what happened there. I think Tommy Real went up the inside, went in deep. Pez went for the switchback. They just touched, and that was Pez spinning into the wall. He's in the pits now. He'll put on a set of softs, new wing, and he'll probably still get something from this race. A few points, hopefully, for him. But, yeah, after all that, what a disappointing end to it.
Well, like I was saying earlier, Pez was really controlling the Grand Prix. Kept it clean throughout. Had a good battle there. Some of the driving quite questionable at times. I think we'll be having a look at Tommy Real after this one. He seemed to be a bit of an instigator there earlier on in the battle, and I think it just boiled over into what we just saw.
Yeah, we'll leave that one for the stewards to decide. Meanwhile, Drazzy all over the back of James in what is now the battle for P4. We've also got Snipes, who is just getting into DRS range on Tomaril. Give him another lap, and he'll be right there with him. So let's stick with Drazzy for the time being. He's now looking to get the move done on ROM James. For 2 championship points, this battle is. They've got to be careful. Lorne is ready and waiting for a mistake from either of the 2 ahead, and then he will pounce and take those points for himself.
So winners and losers, Vettel up 8 positions, Snipes 13, Tommy Real 2, Aki 5, Dunsworth 5, Yanni Yans down 6, and D-Money been in the wars today, down 11 positions.
Dunsworth picks up a 3-second as Snipes is now well within DRS range of Tomaril, that gap down to 4/10, and the man who started, 15th on this grid is now poised and ready to make a move for the race lead when the opportunity arises.
Down into turn 1, going to have the inside line. James is going to try and get back at him here. Go for that alternative line, gets good traction out the corner. It's going to get up underneath the Mercedes here, and it's going to have to go the long way around the outside, which can be a good line if the other driver races you. There is contact.
Oh, that's pushed James into a penalty. Yeah, there was a little bit of rubbing at the apex there between Drazzy and James, and that's unfortunately cost James. Hopefully, if James just gets a screenshot of his race director at the end and proves he has no further warnings, he can get that removed, because it's not a fair penalty. It's not James driving off the circuits to gain an advantage. It's him being forced wide, and I think Drazzy is going to let him through here.
Yeah, fair play. We like to see that there.
Go to Snipes and Tomaril though in the battle for the lead as they start lap 28. Is Snipes going to be close enough to make the move and have a go? Not on this occasion. I think he's just saving his battery up a bit. He's going in a far better position than Tomaril. Is he going to make the move on the final lap?
You know, he's got master racecraft, and Tommy already going defensive there. Snipes is already in his head at this point, and Tommy with no battery to play with. Snipes
Vettel in the pits. Why is he boxed? I think he wants the fastest lap, but I don't think he's got the gap, and he doesn't.
Oh!
No, he's dropped down to P6. Well, he's got a lap to absolutely send it, as Pez just sets the fastest lap of the race. Vettel has just thrown away a podium.
James or Drazzy. He's going to have the inside line for this corner, and that is the high ground. Oh! He gives the Mercedes space, which he didn't have himself the last time around. Good fair racing.
Oh, look at Vettel already gaining, looking to go down the inside into turning on Lorne. He's made that one, and he's got it nicely done. Puts himself up in the P5s. I did see Drazzy getting a bit wobbly up ahead there. I think that might have been what you were reacting to. Drazzy struggling on his worn tyres. Vettel making it hard for himself, but could still take the podium here, as Snipes has got past Tomaril. Where's that happened?
Well, we took our eyes off of it. Maybe a moment for Tommy Real, maybe down the back straight. Not quite sure of that, but he's up into the lead. And he's going to be blasting on through as we start the final lap of the Grand Prix. Vettel and James.
Yeah, Vettel with the move on James in a weird place of the track. And he is going to have a look at Drazzy, I think. Wait until you've got the DRS, Vettel. No need to do it too early. And he should be able to get himself into podium places. I was sat there thinking, we'll watch this midfield battle. And when they get onto the back straight, Snipes and Tommy will do it. But but no, here comes Vettel then on the back straight. Oh, that was a late decision to go to the inside. Here he comes to take the podium position down the inside on Drazzy, as that's James going very deep in the background into turn 1, losing it under braking there. And that's Vettel though, up in P3, but look who's coming back at him. Here comes Drazzy with such an advantage into turn 4. Vettel though will have the superior grip. He's going to go for the switchback, and surely now just out traction Drazzy on the exit as they head towards the X's. Don't touch here, boys, as it looks like Vettel will surely get this one done, and he does.
He's got nothing left in the tank. He's absolutely exerted every available bit of energy. He's already flashing away. Does Drazzy have anything left? Empty the tank, lad. Come on.
Snipes is coming towards the final corner to take the race win. he started this race P15. He's benefited from some collisions out ahead of him. He's put on a strong performance, and on his debut, it's Snipes SB who takes victory at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Tommy Real takes P2, but there may be some stewards' inquiries into that one. And in our battle for P3, it looks like it will be RSF1 Vettel. He made it difficult for himself by making that late pit stop. I don't know if his hards were about to blow up or if he just wanted some fastest lap, but he's got it done. He's put himself back into P3, and he will take the podium. It's not been an easy season for him.
Look at this!
He's done it.
B Ford, Pez. Oh! In the last corner, they touch. And there's Pez up the inside. It's going to be a photo finish. 3 wide up to the line. Woohoo!
Ludlow by 300ths of a second ahead of B Ford, who was 500ths ahead of Pez. Weston's P11, Yannian's P12, Dunsworth bins it on the line in P13, and it'll be Stato and D-Money 14th and 15th, but Snipes SB, he's only gone and done it.
Why are we surprised? Huh? Why?
You got a good point there.
I mean, the advantage of doing what he done was he puts himself into his own sort of no man's land, as it were. Away from everyone, away from all of the carnage that ensued. And, was just consistent, like you said, with his lap times over the course of the Grand Prix. And deservedly driver of the day. Some real misfortune for a lot of the drivers today. We saw Maitland dropping it. We saw Pez involved in that contact. We also saw B Ford disconnect and then really have to battle his way up through the grid again. And Dinger's D-Money, the man was he in the wars as well. But a good race for us, Matt, to commentate on.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was nice. A lot of carnage, good battles, and the Bahrain circuit delivers once again. There you go, there's your final race order for the day. Snipes wins, of course he does, from P15 on the grid. That's driver of the day. Tommy Real P2, Vettel P3. But well done to RSF1 Vettel, getting himself on the podium. It's been a tricky season for him, but he's got there in the end. Good stuff. Drazzy P4, Lorne P5, then it's James, Aki, Ludlow B4 to take 2 points after his disconnect, and Pez P10. He'll be hoping for a lot more after that one, after he was looking like a potential winner of this Grand Prix. It's Weston's 11th, Yannian's 12th, Dunsworth 13, D-Money 14, and whatever happened after that.
Yeah, a thoroughly exhilarating race, and as we see, battles all the way up to the death of that Grand Prix, and the death of a few drivers on those deadly curbs in Bahrain. Fantastic race to commentate on. Always delivers great racing. The Republic of Motorsport. We'll catch it every Sunday at 4:30, where it was the debutant who came home with the dub today. Let's try and get a few of the boys in for a post-race interview. And we'll start with the boss man.
Just trying to get the clip of the instance sent to Pez and Tommy Real in case they need it.
Have we heard Tommy talk?
Not in real life, we haven't. I think his English is good, but not conversation good. I think that's what he's told us before.
Copy that. Well, we try Vettel because he did make life hard for himself, Matt. He could have put it down into lean revs for the last few laps there. And we're joined by RSF1 Vettel. Mate, what was you thinking there? What was the logic in that? Put yourself in danger zone. Are you a madman?
I wasn't danger zone. Game told me I'll come out in third. Tried to go for fastest lap, but apparently I came out in fifth. so it didn't quite work.
Oh wow, some of the moves you pulled on there. That was real gutsy.
Ah.
What was your favourite one?
I can't remember, just wanted to get P3. At this point, I didn't even care about the moves, just want to get back on the podium.
Yeah, an excellent showing today, Vettel, and fantastic drive from you. Gave us some great
you.
action on track, and yeah, thank you very much for that one. Any questions, Matthew
No worries.
Connolly?
No, just congratulations to Vettel. I know it's been
Yeah.
a tough season so far for you, but well done on getting that podium, and cheers for giving us some good entertainment at the end there.
I wish I was involved in 3 wide at the finish line. Yeah, but thank you. It was a good race.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyable day here in the Republic of Motorsport every Sunday at 4:30. Of course, dependent on the F1 circus, which will unfold in the coming weeks. And yes, enjoyed that one. Join us same time next week for another Grand Prix. I've been CSR Skills. This guy's been... Who are you again?
Me, I am Bob. No. Oh, Lord Bottlejob the First.
That's him. That's Matt, you see. We've had Vettel in the booth. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.